Watch an active cyber threat move laterally inside a hyperscaled cloud architecture. It propagates across the interconnected digital mesh in milliseconds, searching for high-value targets. In modern zero-trust environments, detecting this anomaly is no longer the primary bottleneck. Security teams usually know exactly when and where a breach begins. The actual failing point for chief information security officers is automated containment. When traditional logic identifies a breach, it executes a blunt force isolation of the compromised subnet. This triggers the blast radius dilemma, frequently severing healthy connections to critical business nodes like payment gateways and core databases. Look at this 2D network map. Dropping a broad quarantine zone over the infection inevitably turns surrounding healthy revenue nodes offline, triggering a self-inflicted denial of service. To avoid this, CISAs mandate human verification, creating a 45-minute window where attackers encrypt data before quarantine approval. The PTCP+TNQG Enterprise Quarantine Suite removes this manual review. By synthesizing the predictive tensor control plane with the tensor network quantum gravity engine, the suite replaces blunt force isolation with an automated response driven by deterministic graph analysis. Eliminating the human review bottleneck enables immediate threat neutralization while maintaining business uptime. Traditional CMs rely on scalar alerts and volumetric tuning. Security teams are constantly adjusting thresholds, leading to alert fatigue and chronically delayed responses. The Predictive Tensor Control Plane, or PTCP engine, discards scalar logic entirely, replacing it with predictive geometry. This 3D topographical surface maps a live network. The PTCP engine synthesizes multimodal telemetry into a continuous probability tensor. Normal data flows as smooth geometric waves, but a lateral attack alters this physical topology. A sharp, localized sinkhole instantly warps the surface. In mathematics, this specific metric of structural deformation is known as Foreman-Ritchie graph curvature. Rather than tracking how much data is moving, the PTCP engine detects attacks physically by measuring deformations in this geometric curvature. Physical geometric measurement provides high fidelity, identifying compromised network zones based on structural stress long before a traditional SIEM volumetric alert triggers. Once the PTCP curvature score breaches critical limits, the system initiates the next sequential step, the automated response protocol. This isolation is executed by the Tensor Network Quantum Gravity, or TNQG engine. The mechanical challenge of containment is figuring out how to isolate the compromised sinkhole without severing unnecessary healthy connections attached to the same bulk infrastructure. This illustrates the Boykov-Kolmogorov-Mincut algorithm. The TNQG engine applies it directly to the topographical app. The math calculates exactly the minimal boundary needed to separate the threat from the enterprise infrastructure, slicing only the precisely affected links. This precise severing action achieves what we define as zero entanglement between the compromised zone and your secure operations. By calculating the mathematically perfect boundary, containment minimizes impact on global network flow. The core business infrastructure remains functional while the threat is isolated. With the compromised zone perfectly isolated, legitimate traffic still needs to reach its destination by navigating around the newly created quarantine gap. Large language models are highly capable network architects. An AI agentic router can quickly ingest the network state and suggest entirely new routing topologies. Deploying an LLM introduces severe risk. A flawed AI route might fail under load, causing a digital bridge to collapse under its own weight. To solve this, TNQG enforces a strict trust but mathematically verify pipeline. This split-screen diagram demonstrates the workflow. On the left, the AI agentic router suggests a bypass topology around the quarantine gap. Before execution, the TNQG engine uses a secure sandbox on the right to run a rapid, simulated physics proof on the suggested patch. Only after the mathematical proof confirms the patch is physically viable does the system lock it into the live main graph. This verified sandbox is the only method for an enterprise to deploy the full capabilities of agentic AI for complex routing. It completely eliminates the risk of a self-inflicted network collapse. To understand how this architecture scales, we have to look past the network topology map and examine the physical server hardware beneath it. In this chart, you see the traditional hardware bottleneck. Scaling complex graph algorithms causes rapid memory bloat, triggering an out-of-memory or OOM kill shutdown. A secondary bottleneck, known as gill starvation, further cripples the system by entirely locking up the processing threads. The PTCP and TNQG suite prevents hardware failure by utilizing a single-worker ASTI orchestrator that interfaces with the system at the kernel level. To solve the memory bloat, the system uses true Python yield generators and aggressive ring buffers. Look at this diagram showing continuous circular rings. They cycle data smoothly, overwriting safely without expanding their outward diameter. To prevent deadlocks, the system ensures kernel-safe inter-process communication using micro-batched OS pipes and strict semaphore limits. These kernel-level constraints ensure the orchestrator maintains a stable resource footprint, preventing the service degradation and crashes that typically occur during high-stress attacks. Zooming out, we observe the continuous operation of the complete suite across the entire enterprise architecture. Watch this glowing energy route perfectly through the shifting labyrinth. It continuously cycles through telemetry ingestion, curvature detection, min-cut isolation, and AI physics verification. This delivers a clear return on investment. Ransomware and lateral threats are neutralized in milliseconds, with zero business downtime. Beyond security, the engine provides continuous capital expenditure optimization. The system actively maximizes utilization by routing standard traffic over optimal geodesic paths. By ensuring data moves across the most efficient routes available, the enterprise gets maximum value out of its existing fiber and switch infrastructure, actively delaying the need for costly hardware upgrades. Mapping chaotic network telemetry as deterministic geometry ensures that isolation is a calculation rather than a broad guess. Mathematical isolation keeps the threat contained, the AI verified, and the enterprise online.